Hello, my dear people of Southern Cameroons, my dear people of Ambazonia. I bring you revolutionary greetings on this 8th day of the month of November, the year of our Lord 2018. Dear soldiers of our revolution, I know that the times are getting more and more complicated. I know that in the eyes of man, a lot of people are beginning to say our struggle is derailed. And no, with our bare eyes, some are beginning to say we have failed. A good lot are beginning to wonder what brought them into this struggle in the first place. My dear brothers and sisters of the revolution, I want to draw our attention, all and sundry, to the fact that it always, generally, gets worse before it gets better. Let us know that our revolution is not the first in history. Let us take a look at other revolutions that have occurred before ours. It is possible we will easily come to the conclusion that we have made a lot of progress. We are dealing here with an enemy that has an ability to mutate as much as possible. We are dealing here with an enemy that knows no ethics, an enemy that has sowed shame, an enemy that is not afraid of anyone across the world, an enemy that believes that the world is an island. For that reason, we are compounded with a lot of difficulties. But trust me, difficulties that we have been able to overcome with bravery, both internally and externally. Because just like other revolutions that have happened before ours, we have a lot of internal challenges. Our internal challenges sometimes may even threaten to be bigger than the external challenges that we are facing. But one thing is for sure, that whether both the internal and external enemies like it or not, we are going to secure victory in this revolution. Of course, you will wonder why I seem so upbeat, but the truth is, if you have an idea exactly what I know, if you see exactly what I see, you will understand that despite the struggles of so many, both in and out of this revolution, to make sure it fails, by their very actions, they are charting our path to victory. That victory that will come sooner, I insist, sooner than later. By their actions, by day and by night, they take us closer to our victory. They take us closer to exactly what they are struggling to avoid. Let me delve into the drama that is surrounding the capture and release of 11 and then some 78 students from PSS Nkwen. These are basically the signs of some of the issues are brought to our attention much earlier in this revolution. I have said it several times that there will come a time when the enemy will expose all their partners, both within our revolution and across the world. And they will end up losing the support of some of the vital people that had helped them in total blindness in believing that they were actually pursuing a just cause. Our revolution is about ensuring that right prevails over wrong. Our revolution is about ensuring that we put an end to modern day slavery. Our revolution is about putting an end to the last vestiges of colonialism on a people so determined, on a people so tooled, on a people so ready to take their own destiny into their hands. My dear brothers and sisters, valiant soldiers of our revolution, I'd like you to take a closer look at what happened concerning the kidnap. When I first revealed that the government of La République du Cameroon had signed a deal with Square Battenberg in the United States of America to enable them to do public relations, to spray perfume on the sheet that Mr. Paul Biya keeps pouring left and right, many were those who thought it was a joke. When I equally revealed, after I had the report written by the Gogomo Commission that came to the United States to see some officials, and among them the Secretary General of the United Nations. Some thought it was a joke. When I read that report and indicated to all and sundry that the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, had promised to use his high offices to contact some media houses around the Western world to ensure that they help to project Mr. Paul Biya's side of the story and present the people of Southern Cameroons, the peace-loving people of Southern Cameroons, as terrorists, some thought it was, some kind of fiction. I haven't read some comments like that. Today, we are coming to the clear reality. We all noticed that some 78 students were captured, and a good lot of us in the revolution only came to realize that something like that happened from the Western media. We saw even media houses that had never said anything about Southern Cameroons, that never came up to raise the little finger when human beings were being burnt down as whole villages were razed by the soldiers from La République du Cameroon. We saw those media houses come out to denounce the capture of 82 students from PSS Nkwen. This conspiracy was acted in such a way that it definitely had to portray the valiant, gentle, God-fearing people of Southern Cameroons as terrorists who hate Western education, because that is what it was. Because some of the media houses even equated us to Boko Haram. I mean, equated our valiant boys and girls who never declared war on anyone, who only picked up arms to defend themselves after Mr. Paul Biya officially declared war against a section of the population he used to call his people on the 30th of November 2017. This is why our brethren picked up weapons. They never declared war. But today, all is being done to portray the same people only defending themselves because they don't want to die like cowards. They don't want to allow themselves to be slaughtered like pigs and goats. Today, we could see a clear international conspiracy. But I want to congratulate the Twitter warriors of Southern Cameroons. I want to congratulate the very alert and valiant people of Ambazonia who did not wait to be reminded that they had to rise up to fight this very inhuman conspiracy. I want to congratulate all and sundry who played left and right like one-man armies to be able to overcome this challenge. And trust me, we are overcoming it. The whole story is coming out. The whole picture is getting clearer that this was a staged managed affair. That students were simply walked out of their campus with the complicity of the school authorities. I dare say with the complicity of the leadership of the Presbyterian Church, with the complicity of the Minister of Territorial Administration of La République du Cameroun, Mr. Tanganji, with the complicity of the governor of the Northern Zone, the colonial governor of the Northwest, with the complicity of all the administrative chain to traumatize children, give them terrible treatment just because they wanted the world to go away with the impression that Southern Cameroonians and Ambazonians are barbaric people, just because they wanted to conceal the fact that all evidence has definitely laid bare that missionary Charles Wesco from the state of Indiana in the United States of America was not hit by a stray bullet. He was not caught in the crossfire. It was a targeted killing in the same direction as this kidnap was conducted. But God is great. That is why all along the line, they made a lot of mistakes. That is why throughout, they have been unable to act it the way they had planned to act it. That is why all along the line, all the plans set in place collapsed and they have all been discovered. Just like Deploy with Transparency International was discovered. Just like Deploy with the so-called renowned firm in the United States that could carry out audience surveys and be able to project that Mr. Paul Biya winning over 80% was discovered. All of this showed desperation. All these actions show you that La République du Cameroon is losing and they are conscious of the fact that they are losing, despite the disorganizations that have been fighting tooth and nail to inject in our midst. Despite the fact that they have recruited a lot of accomplices in our midst, they are failing. And they are conscious of the fact that they are failing. I don't want to get into so much details as far as this particular issue is concerned. I have sent every piece of information I know to the quarters that deserve to receive it. And trust me, that information is being carefully handled. At least for those who are still doubting, we all saw that the United Nations, under Antonio Guterres, for the first time, published quickly on its website news about the kidnap of students in Southern Cameroon in Boko Haram style. This same United Nations that despite multiple cries has never been able to denounce even for 1 second the burning alive of old and vulnerable people all over Southern Cameroon by soldiers loyal to Mr. Paul Biya as they practice scorched earth policy. If you are doubting, therefore, who your real enemies are, you definitely have seen them. If you are doubting, therefore, who is so interested in the natural resources in Southern Cameroon to the extent that they will allow us to be completely annihilated, you definitely are now aware who those veritable enemies are. I want to say this again. Even the pictures, the images of a nursing mother and other workers of the CDC who had their hands or fingers or toes cut, that falls in the same line. I had revealed on this same platform that there was a lot of work going on by enemies of this revolution who are in good number Southern Cameroonians who have been benefiting from the quasi-colonial system put in place to destroy our lives. I recall that I mentioned the day the CPDM elite of the Southern Zone met at Elever at the home of Mr. Mbianyo Clarkson and discussed the possibility of getting a retired general in Nigeria to help train people they were going to send who will come and pass around as Amber Boys, because that's a code name that they use for those ones, as Amber Boys, who will pass around as restoration forces and wreak havoc on the people. They will raid. They will break into houses and loot. They will terrorize the population. They will kidnap for ransoms. They will do all of those things, all in an attempt to turn the population against the revolution, to turn the populations against those who are truly sacrificing their lives to defend the same people from the incursions from La République du Cameroon. We have seen soldiers, even including civil administrators, break into people's stores. Yes, they have broken into people's stores, carted money, carted goods, tied night watchmen sometimes. In other cases, they just killed them. The looting is going on with the complicity of the same people who pretend to call themselves the elite of the people of Southern Cameroons. That is exactly what is happening. So right now, when you hear that some people pose as Amber Boys to capture children and work with soldiers, don't be surprised, because they are all over the place. As I speak, they're all over the place. That is why it is important for us in this struggle to avoid supporting projects, to avoid supporting strategies that definitely do not demonstrate any ability to work simply because of sentiment. We have to stop operating in this revolution with the heart and operate with our brains. We have to stop operating in this revolution because of who we know, because of the affiliations we have with this or that person. We have to stop that and operate in this revolution with our brains. Else, we are going to labor in vain. Else, the martyrs, those who have sacrificed their lives to ensure that we acquire freedom, would have worked in vain. I say this, and I insist, because the approaches that are being put in place today, and I say it loud and clear, as a result of our collective failure to provide real leadership in this revolution, are desperate moves that will only play into the hands of the enemy and will have a backlash on the success we have so far secured in this revolution. At this point, let me draw the attention of all our people on ground zero. You receive telephone calls on a daily basis. You receive threats from people left and right who tell you, if you don't give us this amount of money, we will burn your house. If you don't give us this amount of money, we will kill you. Because we're Amber Boys, we need this to be able to do our work. I want to draw your attention collectively that there are people who are also even abroad, and there are people who are, these people are working with the evil elite of the CPDM back in the country to create this terror on you all. And that is why there is a unit that has now been put in place. I have said this before, and I want to congratulate particularly the Ground Zero fighters, the Restoration Forces, the Self-Defense Forces that have taken the challenge to whip this crowd of people out of the place. That is why they have put in place a strategy that henceforth, my number is open. I've given my number on this platform a number of times, and I've been assisting a lot already in picking up some of these people. And henceforth, I will start reading the names, the real names of some of these people who are perpetrators, so that you there on Ground Zero can easily identify who they are and know where they are coming from. Because a lot of these people are not even our children. The latest group of people who called a church in Bamenda, they called the church leaders, they captured some church elders, and they wrote to the church and threatened, if you don't give us money, we will burn down the church. Let me stop here first before reading those names to remind us of this. The consortium has always, at the end of its releases, right from the days these releases were signed by Barrister Bala Nkongo, by Comrade Wilfred Tassang, by Dr. Fontaine Neba Afoteka, they always ended with, God is with us. Because we are all aware that this revolution was ordained by God. We are all aware that God is a commander-in-chief of this revolution. And therefore, it will be strange that anyone in the name of so-called Amber Boys will want to attack a church, because this is not part of our revolution. We listen to all of those doing self-defense in their numerous videos. They always make reference to God, which means that they know that the prayers being offered here and there have been the guiding force, have been the main power behind the successes we have scored this far in this revolution. And so, when you hear people call to say they will burn a church, if they don't give them money, those are not self-defense forces loyal to the struggle. So I received some numbers and channeled them to a group that's been put in place to work hard to identify these people, to weed them out. And the first three numbers that the people decided to call and confide in us to try to search, these numbers 673-626-710. The names that were given for this, number was Field Marshal. But when we found out the true owner of this phone, the name is Maratama Rinle. Maratama Rinle. I don't know where that one is coming from. The next number is 650-322-429. The name was given as General Ebenezer Omega 1 of Batibo, but the real name is Armel Kenfak. The real name is Armel Kenfak. Another number, 676-335-233. The names were hidden behind Field Marshal again, yet the real name is Mbaringong Brian Andu. These first three, I've read them out to set an example to demonstrate that henceforth on this particular platform, we are going to be revealing all the faces behind such kidnappings. This is to serve you as a clear deterrence that put an end to such an evil practice forthwith. Our people have suffered enough torture from the hands of the soldiers of La République. They have suffered enough torture from the hands of the greedy politicians who deceived them over the years that they were fighting for them, until today that the scales have all fallen from the eyes of the people. Our people are sacrificing a lot for this revolution, and we will stop at nothing to weed out anyone who wants to intensify the sufferings of these masses. Let this be very clear to all those who are behind this act. And the next step we are going to take is to start uncovering those who are based abroad in the diaspora, who are the sponsors of these groups, because those are the leads that we are getting from ground zero. It's not going to be easy. It's the end of the long break. Sanity must return in this revolution. Whether we like it or not, we have used all sorts of soft methods to draw the attention of people to stop these evil practices. But if they persist, we are left with no other alternative than to expose them, because I think that is definitely going to save lives. That said, I come now on to what I say policies that are likely to bring us problems. I raise this issue that the current approach of local government by local government or country by country is a recipe for disaster. A lot have attacked me, a lot have called me names, a lot have said, you are saying this because it is not being promoted by your man, Comrade Cho Ayaba. I damn the consequences of all that kind of trash. I said here the last time that what we need to know in prosecuting this revolution, we should stop looking at people. We should stop supporting with our hearts. We should begin to support with our brains. I said this. In as much as this approach looks attractive, it looks easy, it looks simplistic, but it is a total demonstration of the fact that we have all collectively decided not to think seriously again, not to work on clear winning strategies. What are we going to do with 101 village militias? We have seen situations already where people who were born and bred in a specific local government area and have never been anywhere else apart from those areas, and have been fighting throughout and defending the people of those areas, are today being reminded that they are not indigenous of that area. They should leave and go and fight in their own local government area. Otherwise, they'll be declared persona non grata. Is that what this revolution is all about? This revolution has never been about tribalism. At the start of this revolution, we saw how the mighty work that La République du Cameroun and the political elite had put in place, creating a huge divide between the northern zone and the southern zone. We saw how those walls collapsed, and we all reveled in the fact that these walls collapsed. But today, because of failed leadership, we want to allow La République du Cameroun to smuggle in again that particular evil policy in another name to let us begin to destroy ourselves. Unlike anyone, don't point accusing fingers at me yet. Continue to call ground zero and find out what is happening. Whole camps are being attacked. Yes, by other forces to impose the LGA by LGA. Whole people who took up arms to defend themselves are being disarmed. Over 200 this far by their own very people, because they want them, you must swallow LGA by LGA. I mean, whole camps are being disarmed. Right now, as we're talking, a lot of people who rose up and rose to their ranks according to their own calling as generals are being killed. Yes, we are not being told, they are being killed daily. Who is organizing this killing? I have listened to the various audios coming. I have spoken to a lot of the soldiers of the revolution at ground zero, and a good lot of them say this is from the ASC. They had problems in effect with ADF. The ADF had its problems in Batibo. The ADF had problems in Mato. The ADF had problems in a number of areas. Today, we all shouted. People all screamed, and they said, Barako, you are not saying enough, because I was looking at the situation. Today, accusing fingers are being pointed at the ASC. My dear brothers and sisters, I don't want to take sides in pointing fingers on one side or on the other. What I want to point out here is that we are creating a time bomb. And this time bomb, we will not be able to manage this time bomb. It is important for us to all sit down, reflect and reflect once more, and think of the strategies that would win. If people have lost confidence in their leaders' ability to be able to vehicle the resources they put together to where the resources are supposed to go, think of another strategy. Don't take the easy run and abandon the hard ride. Let us give ourselves the duty of thinking and think again very hard. We will be able to come up with a winning strategy rather than falling in something just out of sentiments and out of the fact that it is desperation. And it is desperation that caused a young fighter to write an article that has circulated so widely on social media today, in which he said, I am dropping my arms. Yes, he said he's abandoning his arms. He is giving up the fight. But do you think truly he has dropped his arm? That he has truly given up the fight? No. What he wrote is a conscience call on each and every single Ambazonian to realize that the ongoing scuffle between groups, the ongoing fight for hegemony, the ongoing infernal battle to destroy one person or the other so that the other can emerge is not helping the struggle. It is a conscience call. Some have even already been quick to say no. That write-up is an agent of La République that has written it, and so it should no longer be circulated. We should cast it off. No. Some have been quick to say no, truly the man has abandoned. That is the trend that many are taking. No. This fighter has looked up, looked down, looked left, looked right, and realized that we are missing the point. And he felt that that is the best way to portray what is likely to happen if we do not think fast, if we do not wear back our thinking cap and do what we are supposed to do. And this is a very important moment for us to do this, because we all followed Mr. Paul Biya at his inaugural. During his swearing in, what so many federalists expected was Mr. Paul Biya saying, I am going to release these people, I am going to do this, that he was going to talk appeasement. But true to himself, Mr. Paul Biya promised more war and provocatively said, those who have picked up arms to do self-defense, to defend themselves, because I, for one, have never liked war. I never supported war. But when a people are being plundered, the only thing they need to do is defend themselves. I saw videos in Rom, that is in one subdivision, yes, where all people got into their bedrooms and picked their then guns and decided to join when they saw soldiers of La République burning down their houses, when they saw them raping their women, when they saw them looting their properties. That is what happens when a people are attacked. They have to defend themselves. So when Mr. Paul Biya says what he says, let them drop their arms quickly and come out of the forest quickly and surrender to him. Otherwise, they will face his wrath. Is that peace? That's not an olive branch anyway. That is simply more war he is declaring. That is provocation. But I'd like to let you know why Mr. Paul Biya would do that. Because he is failing. Some people said Mr. Paul Biya promised that after he gets sworn in, he would teach us a lesson. He would take 2 weeks and wipe us out. Let me ask you this question. You think Mr. Paul Biya had a solution to this and had to wait for 2 years? Let his economy get to the lowest ebb. I had to wait for 2 years. Let the reputation of his country get to the lowest ebb. Had to wait for 2 years. Let everything go down the drain in his country before he comes out with that wonderful joker that he claims to have? Or is it that he needed more years to be able to do this? My dear people, Mr. Paul Biya's system is crumbling. It's crumbling at an alarming rate. There is so much pressure on Mr. Paul Biya from left, right, up, down. We saw for the first time that the French ambassador in La République du Cameroun did not attend the ceremony to officially proclaim the results of the elections. I'm still verifying closely because I've not been able to watch all the portions of the video of the swearing-in ceremony to confirm information I got that that ambassador did not also attend the swearing-in ceremony. That is none of our business. But that is just one little portrayal of the pressure that is on Mr. Paul Biya. For that reason, he will threaten. He will make noise. When you see the desperate moves, the killing of an American missionary, just because they want to force America to come in to fight so-called terrorists, the capture, the dramatic capture and eventual release of 82 children that the governor and the forces loyal to Mr. Paul Biya held them down and insisted nobody will interview any of them. No journalist talked to any of them until the following day because they wanted to take them into session, brainwash them, threaten, and coddle at the same time, so they should tell a specific line of story that will be given them. My dear brothers and sisters, those are all signs of desperation. Even at the moment I'm recording this video, La République du Cameroon is yet to completely pay salaries to all its workers. Yes, those directly under the public service have been paid, but those in state corporations have not been paid until this moment I'm talking. They are still scratching. I'm talking here of salaries of the month of October. Generally, they paid by the 25th. They are still scratching left and right. Why do they pay public servants first? Because that's a mass group and it will be easily visible. And the mass can easily get into the streets. And so they collect the monies from the various corporations like CLTV, like CNC, like all of those corporations, like Ourcell, like Camtel, and they use this money in paying civil servants first. And then they start scratching, taking overdrafts here and there in banks, left and right and all whatnot to pay the rest of the workers. It is not going. We just have to be steadfast. We just have to be resolute. We have held it right on to this point. We have to continue holding on. There is no giving up. All we need to do, return to the moments where you participated in this struggle as a one-man army. I have seen with a lot of pleasure the letter from the British member of parliament to the authorities of that country questioning the letter of congratulations sent to Mr. Paul Biya and asking when this matter will be tabled before the UN Security Council. And that parliamentarian quotes a constituent, that is a Southern Cameroonian who played the one-man army. That is the way to go. That is how this revolution started. That was a winning strategy. We must return to the winning strategies. We should look back and see what worked and what did not work. Cast away what did not work. Embrace what worked, even as we continue to think, to reflect, to get a global strategy. Mr. Paul Biya is a devouring machine. Now, Mimi Mefo Takambo is under lock and key. The same thing they did to Michel Biemtom of Hurricane News. He is under lock and key. This tells you that any journalist in La République du Cameroon today who will not be walloped up the fastest possible and locked up is definitely either on the side of the oppressor or has decided to embrace self-censorship. Because under Mr. Paul Biya's regime, no, you are not allowed to follow the ethics of the profession. I congratulate all those pressmen and women who are still fighting hard, tooth and nail, to at least say it as they see it in La République du Cameroon. Take precautions, because I know that the evil machine is after you all. The days and weeks ahead for Mr. Paul Biya are going to be extremely reactionary, and you could see the discrimination. Anyone who has spoken favorably for Southern Cameroons must be under lock and key. But if you speak favorably for candidate Camto and others and do things, perhaps they will pick you up and release you the next day, as we saw with Merchant Doki, as we saw candidate Camto himself. But anything related to Southern Cameroons is poison. This is a clear message to the Federalists. Let us know. We are facing collective annihilation. We are facing a system determined to wipe us all from the surface of the earth because of our resources. If we do not realize this, then something is definitely wrong with us. God is with us.